last night. Tabitha's back. What?
What's going on, everyone? So we got the look ahead teaser trailer for episode 5. So let's kind of go over it and break it down. So in the first clip you just saw, obviously there is the implications and impact being dealt with of Tabitha getting out as well as returning, right? It's one thing to get out. No one knows whether you got out, you died, what happened. It's another thing when you actually come back. So now this has caused this level of panic and this level of just like, hey, if she got out, maybe we can all get out. And now you're seeing the town trying to figure out, okay, well, how do we get there? Let's go. You hear in a clip I'm about to play in a moment, the town people talking about, like, what are we waiting for? Why are we standing around? Let's get up. Let's go out. Tabitha is our proof that there is an escape route. And then you can get back. But they're not looking at all of the nuance of this, right? She got out, yes, but only momentarily. She returned. Like, if you get out, 1, is everybody going to be able to get out? 2, will everybody be able to survive? 3, if you get out and everyone just ends up right back, well, then who cares? What, are you just going to keep trying over and over again and just kind of live in this endless cycle until you eventually meet your end, right? So there's more to it than just as simple as like, hey, let's find the bottle tree and get out. Let's go to the tower and we'll all just jump off the top of the tower, right? Like, there's got to be a creative way to try to figure out and use details that Tabitha can relay to the town and that Boyd can use to potentially help everyone get out, right? Just because Tabitha had her path and her way to get out doesn't mean that that's the same path that everyone can take. And that doesn't mean that Fromville won't try to prevent any of that from happening. But here's that next clip.
Tabitha got out? Impossible. Where's the tree?
What are we waiting for?
Let's go.
I've had it.
So as you see, the townspeople now are reacting, right? Which you can understand. They're scared. The whole goal is to try to get out of there. They see one of their own got out, came back. So again, now there is point and proof of like, hey, there is a way out. But they're not taking and rationally thinking this through. Boyd is trying to keep everyone in order, everyone in line of like, hey, you know, like, yes, I understand that, but we got to be cautious. We got to take our time. We got to figure this out. It probably is not as simple as everyone just rushing and funneling through that tree. And now we're in the tower. And then what? What, the boy in white is just going to push us all off and take us all to freedom? We don't know that yet. And you could be running right into a trap. You could be running right into your death. There's just because Tabitha got out because she had a mission of trying to save the children, right? Maybe it's something where we all team up and work together to try to save the children. So do imagine this episode and moving forward, you're going to see Boyd have to try to combat the town in a lot of ways, because they all are panicked and not really thinking this process through. They just see that there was a way out. Let's go. Let's get out. But not taking into account that Fromville brought Tabitha back, right? They're not thinking of like Tabitha's path to get out and all of the instances that happened. They're just looking at like, hey, she got out, so we can get out. And Boyd is going to definitely, I imagine, have this form, this level of pushback that I think is going to be very interesting to see how it all unravels. And if the townspeople just kind of disregard him and do some of these characters end up trying to push too hard or end up trying to get out and end up meeting their end and just not really thinking this through and thinking very clearly. But next up,
Victor, your dad is here.
Listen up, boss.
He's upstairs.
No.
Victor, I went out and I...
so you see Donna relay to Victor that his father is in the town. And Victor doesn't really believe it, which is completely understandable. You got to look at it from Victor's standpoint, right? For all he knows, his father could be dead. His father, last he saw, would have been in his 30s, if that. Right? And now this guy's back. You know, even though it is his father, in many ways it's not, right? Yes, it's his blood. Yes, it's the guy that, you know, at a point in his life likely raised him and was in his life. However, he hasn't seen him in 30 plus years. He wasn't raised by his father. He was raised by Fromville. He was raised alongside the boy in white, right? Like, so even though it is his father, he's a complete stranger to him. And that would be hard for any grown adult, right? Any grown adult seeing your father after 30 years, and then you add in the circumstances that it wasn't the father's fault, or at least as far as we know. We'll find out if, there's some more details to that. But as far as we know, like, the father, it wasn't like the father went to prison or the father just left or whatever, right? Like, it was circumstances that were beyond his control, right? It was circumstances that he wasn't even aware of. He didn't know where to look. He didn't know where to go. He didn't know anything, right? And it's just like you fell off the face of the earth. Now, imagine Victor, who, yes, has the physical appearance of a grown adult, but is very childlike. He's still a kid mentally, emotionally, right? So he's looking at it and he's having this sort of breakdown in a lot of ways, which is completely understandable, completely justifiable. And you see him kind of having to deal and navigate through that. And I'm excited for the Victor Henry reunion. I'm excited to see how that plays out. Does Victor just avoid him? I imagine for a while he's going to try to avoid him, but I do think at some point you're going to have that encounter. At some point you're going to have that meeting. Last thing I'm sure Henry wants is to trouble Victor too much. But you got to, at some point, you got to kind of rip the Band-Aid off and just have that emotional moment. And hopefully it happens this episode, but I wouldn't be shocked if you kind of get a couple episodes before that ends up happening. And then now they have this dialogue, or maybe something happens to Henry, in which Victor feels like, I don't want to not see him. I don't want to not say goodbye or something. We'll see how that plays out. But man, like, Victor having his, it throws a real wrench into things. But hopefully maybe Henry can kind of help Victor sort of unlock some of these memories, because you're seeing Victor is all about this season unlocking some of those past memories and trying to relate to the past, so that way he can kind of figure out how to help now, so there isn't everybody dying, which kind of ties into, once again, the panic of the town of like, hey, we all need to get out. So it kind of seems like the ship is being, steered towards a bed of rocks or something, a mountain or something. And Victor's trying to figure out, is there a way that I can kind of steer the ship back into place? But
We're going to the tree. What?
The rock. And I came back with nothing.
so lastly, you see Tabitha relay to Jim, as well as her family, that she wants to go back to the tree, that the townspeople are right, and that she needs to, try to go get some type of answers. And Jade appears to be with her. Jade and Tabitha appear to be at the tree. Jade is kind of doing some exploration, looking into the tree, looking at the bottles. You see Jade. We also got some photo releases as well, in which you can see Tabitha and Jade together working on just trying to, unpack what happened. And then Jade, with his mind, he is a genius, right? Can he kind of come up with some forms of resolution? Can he kind of help Tabitha at least process and kind of walk through what happened? Try to figure out, like, is there a path? Is there another way? Does this tie into what he's seen? Does this tie into the symbol, right? What do we have to do? Is there a way that maybe he can help to, help keep Tabitha not only safe, but keep Tabitha from, potentially meeting her end if she tries to do it again, right? Again, Fromville brought her back. This was something where, yes, she got out. She had a mission. She was on her way to the mission, kind of sabotaged it herself, and Fromville brought her back. Well, did Fromville bring her back because they just didn't want her to complete the mission and go see that other bottle tree? Is it because she was finally captured now, right? She's in the ambulance, the cops there, all that. They're trying to figure out who she is. She's kind of, stuck. So do they look at it as like, okay, well, let's give her a reset? Right? Was it the boy in white that brought her back? Maybe it wasn't even Fromville. Right? There's still so much that needs to be unpacked that I imagine we'll get in the next episode and going forward, right? I'm sure we're not going to get all of it in the next episode, but I do think that we'll get some form of it. And we'll see what Jade can find. You see him at the bottle tree pulling down some of the bottles and trying to, piece together whatever he can piece together to, you're trying to just gather data, trying to gather as much information as possible. But clearly this is the aftermath impact episode. This is Tabitha's back. Randall, we'll see if he's alive or dead. You don't really get any details on Randall. Obviously you see Kenny and as well as, Jim talking about how Tabitha and Jade and Kenny are back along with Christy, I would imagine, because Christy, we don't see Christy, but you see Jade and Kenny in that moment talking to Boyd, and they didn't really seem distraught. They didn't really seem like Christy just died, right? So I imagine that you're going to have everyone kind of make it back. They find out, like, wait a minute, Tabitha got out? Tabitha's back? Like, how did that happen? There's just so many more questions now for the town people, and it's going to be up to Boyd to try to, navigate this and keep chaos in order, right? Because now everybody, you got to imagine they're all ready to march and head for that tree and see if they can get out. But again, it could lead to their deaths. So you got to let cooler heads prevail. And then Fatima, you see Fatima really kind of settled in with panic as well, which, she's kind of dealing with this metamorphosis. She's dealing with this change that you got to imagine she's probably scared and is like, if I get out of here, maybe this will stop. So I'm sure that there's another level to this for her and maybe even potentially Ellis as we move forward through this episode and beyond. But I am excited, as always. I am definitely looking forward to this, but I pass the questions on to you. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Also, what did you think of this little breakdown video? I haven't really done one of these for the trailer. So do you like this video? Do you want me to do more as we move forward through the other videos? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.